Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday to you. We are all set and we are ready for day 2 of your emotional detox. I'm just going to give folks just a couple minutes to hop online. And I hope that you have at least gotten yourself started with your work, with the life work that I sent out yesterday. Hey, Eleanor, I'm gonna adjust my light a bit so I'm not too shiny. But I hope that you have been doing your work. I hope that you did not avoid. Hey, Alethea. Hi, Yolanda. Hi, ladies. Come on in. Come on in. I pray that you have been putting yourself in a posture of surrender. Because again, as I said yesterday, the weights that you are carrying are much too heavy for you. And this is your opportunity. This is your week to let it go. And so tonight, what we are digging into, hey, Sonia, what we are digging into is learning how to feel the feelings, because we have become professional avoiders. And I just want to let you know that just because you are trying to avoid the feeling does not make the feeling go away. I shared with you guys yesterday that pain has to have somewhere to go. Hey, Crystal, how are you? And so we want to make sure that you are actually processing out the pain. Because again, part of a detox, when you think about a physical detox, it is about getting the impurities out of your body. When we are, doing all these different fasts or all these different, kinds of health things for our physical body, this is what you must do to process emotions out of your body. We forget that we have energy. We are made up of energy. So, and you guys know, hey, Misty, you guys know that you can feel a person's energy as soon as you walk in a room. So have you ever gone into in a room, especially, with people that you love, people that you know, and you've asked a sister or somebody, even one of your kids, what's going on? How you doing? And they just said, fine. And good and well, it ain't fine. You could feel their energy. And so today is about detoxing all of that stuff that we have not wanted to feel, the stuff that we have not wanted to process, so that you can get it off of you, so that when you are in relationship, people aren't feeling your unfinished business. Okay. And y'all have all been on the other side of that, where it's just something about a person where you're like, I don't know, but something's not quite right, or something just isn't settled in that person's spirit. I know I'm very, very sensitive, which is part of why I do what I do, but I can feel people's pain. If I am in the presence of pain, even though a person is telling me they are fine, I can feel when it's not fine. I can feel and sense intuitively when someone is heartbroken. And so I want you to be able to process all of the stuff that you are carrying around with you, that you think nobody knows, that you think nobody sees, and really that is causing you harm in your body. Because like I said yesterday, pain has to have somewhere to go. Your body becomes the perfect host. And all of those unprocessed emotions, anger, frustration, disappointment, it begins to get on you at a cellular level. And you can literally feel it in your body. But most of us, we are avoiding the feeling so much and so deeply, we never let ourselves feel. So one of the first questions, and I didn't send out an actual worksheet because today, day 2, you really don't need a worksheet, because I really want you to be in the feelings. I don't want you to be in your cognitive brain. Yesterday was for you to think, was for you to recall, was for you to write down. Hey, Alicia, today you are going to be operating from the neck down. I want you to be able to feel what you have not wanted to feel. And one of the things, before I even go into what is the feeling you are avoiding, and if you did your life work from yesterday about what are the weights you're carrying, you already know what you're trying to avoid. So the question becomes, why am I trying to avoid it? And I think for us as women, there is a notion that we can't handle the pain. We literally sometimes operate as if we are going to crack, like we are going to fall apart. I think I shared in another Facebook Live that I was doing some work, some private work with a woman, and we were talking about exactly this. Just, her being willing to feel, her being able to stop kind of denying what was right in front of her face. And I said, what is it that you're really afraid of? And her response to me is, if I were to let myself feel, I feel like the floodgates would open. I feel like I would cry and I would never stop crying. Can anybody relate to what I'm saying? And so what I am saying to you is your body is ready and deserving of freedom. So you do not have the capacity to carry that level of emotion. And so today is the day that you begin to let yourself feel. One of my favorite quotes, and this is from a different book than I showed you yesterday, but the quote is that there is a part of you that has never been broken, and there is a part of you that never will be. And I love that quote because as a healer, as a counselor, a therapist, life coach, whatever you want to call me, minister, we are sometimes so focused on what has been broken, on what has been cracked, on what has been in disarray, that we forget that there is a part of us that is completely whole. And that is the part of you that I am wanting to speak to tonight, that there is a part of you that is not in pieces. There is a part of you that is not in shambles. There is a part of you that can handle the truth, whatever the truth may be. Because that's the woman in you that gets you up out of the bed, that gets you moving through your day. That's the woman who takes you to work, to a job you may not even want to go to. That's the woman who does what she doesn't even feel like doing because she knows it needs to be done. So that woman can handle whatever it is that you feel like you must avoid. Do you all hear me? You can handle it. You are stronger than you think. The thing that you think that you are trying to avoid, guess what? You're already in it. I love that sometimes when people feel like, I just don't want to be in this situation, or I just don't want to feel this particular thing. And sometimes I have to hold up the mirror and say, sister girl, you are already there. The thing you think you are avoiding, you are right smack in the middle of. I was talking to a sister, this was a while ago, and we were, doing more of the marital work. And her situation, she kept saying, I just don't want to have my children in a broken home. I just, so she was holding on to a relationship that had been broken. She was holding on to a marriage that was not a marriage. And her rationale was, I can't handle it. I can't have my children broken. And I kept saying, what do you think you're in? Where do you think you are right now? So, sometimes again, what you think you are avoiding, you are right smack dab in the middle of, and you are able to handle it. You are able to handle more than you have been telling yourself. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of unpacking around what is it that you are trying to avoid. And today we are going to stop trying to circumvent the process, because God is all about process. We are all about getting from point A to point B, and God is more concerned about who you become in the middle, who you become on the journey. And part of the way you learn is to move through, not around, not under, not to stay paused, but you must move through. God has kind of put up the wall. So if you are in that space in your life where you feel like God has done the do not pass go, do not collect $200 until you go through. You must go through. That is the only way to get to your next level. You have done enough avoiding. So what are the ways that you are avoiding? Even though we are talking about food this week and sometimes how we utilize food, food is really more of our way of numbing out. That's a numb out when you are eating when you know you're not hungry. But there is a hunger on the inside of you. But what I am talking about is because as I shared yesterday, most of the women who follow me, you all are very high achieving women. A lot of you all are type A personalities. A lot of you are very accomplished in your life. You're very educated, very much into personal development and growth. And what I know for sure, and I'm a witness to it, that work is my drug of choice. And I just want you to check yourself to see, are you using your work? Are you using your career to avoid what God is trying to take you through? Are you? Have you done that? One of the things that I know, and especially for those of you that love taking care of other people, the invitation, the situation, the pain is a signal that something is wrong in you. That's what pain is. When you go to the doctor assesses what is the level of your pain and where is the pain. That's how we determine what exactly is going on. So guess what happens to you when you ignore the pain? When you act like you are not in pain, that means you avoid what is going on within you. You have been avoiding the alarm that is going off. So when you are, as I talked about yesterday, triggered by your buttons, by whatever, it may be some little side comment that is really not that deep, but somehow you made it deep, by an incident that seems simple, but for you it's not simple because it keeps waking you up at 2 a.m. and you're rehearsing old conversations. What is it that you are trying to avoid? What is it that you do so you don't have to feel, so you don't have to process? What are you doing to put the blinders on so that you don't have to actually move through? And for many of us, it is work. For many of us, it is taking care of somebody else's pain. So are you taking care of someone else's pain so you can avoid your own? Have you been doing that? Again, this is your invitation because God is not going to let you go any further. For those of you that have, that there is a call on your life, that you got work to do, you got this change to create, that you are a catalyst in the world, that life is not just about going to work and coming home and washing dishes and whatever it is you feel like you've been doing, because we do that to check out. And God is saying, not anymore. Not anymore. So one of the principles, and y'all talk back to me today because I want to know where you are. What is it that you are using to avoid? And I know one sister already said, yep, I use work as my escape. One of the ways that I can tell, and I already told you guys yesterday, just because you have the insight, that's not the same as surrendering it and letting it go. So I am very clear. I am very aware that when my calendar is booked to the brim and I don't have any space for myself and I am skipping my sacred care time, I'm skipping prayer time, I have to really sit with myself and say, what is it I'm really avoiding? Why don't I want to be with my own thoughts? Why am I so preoccupied with other people's business that I am skipping my own business? I'm talking about emotional business. And so that's your invitation. Now, the second piece of it, and this is key. Where do feelings even come from? Feelings come from our thoughts about certain experiences. That's where the feeling is coming from. You have an experience, you have a thought or a judgment about an experience, and based off of your judgment, which is basically what did I make this mean, then comes the feeling. Okay? So feelings are not facts. Be very clear. Feelings are not facts. Feelings need to be expressed. Feelings need to be acknowledged, but they are not a fact. And some of us, we treat our feelings like they are facts. And that's why we're trying to avoid them, because we've made them feelings mean something that they don't even mean. So what does it mean that you didn't get the promotion, according to you? Well, I'm not talking about what does it really mean. What does it mean that you didn't get what you wanted? What does it mean that the relationship didn't work out? Can we really go deeper, ladies? What does it mean that your spouse was unfaithful? What did you make it mean when, about you? I'm not talking about them. What did you make it mean about you when you tried to get into a program and they told you no? What did you make it mean when you didn't get the loan and you didn't get the house and you didn't get the promotion? What did you tell yourself about the experience? This is the time where, first of all, you got to put the brakes on all of these runaway feelings. Because if you are not careful, and also if you are slanted, which many of us are, you are slanted toward the negative, you are slanted toward the world view that something about me must not be quite up to par, something about me must be wrong, and that's why I'm not getting what I want. And I already shared with you yesterday what happens when a woman makes herself wrong. What happens when you make yourself wrong? And the other piece of it is, because this is where the numbing comes in, we don't want to feel wrong. That is the last thing a type A high achieving woman wants to do, is to say, I'm wrong. But let me tell you the truth. You may not even be wrong, but have you told yourself something is wrong with me when it's not? Okay? It is not the feeling itself. It's not the feeling itself, or not the feeling. It's not the incident itself that becomes problematic. It is what we make the incident mean. So let's take, for example, and this is a very simple example. If you step on my foot, and since Alicia, you just hitting out with your comments, I'm going to use your name. So if Alicia steps on my foot and we're in a grocery store, and let's just say I don't know her and she steps on my foot, I can look at her and say, oh, that was an accident. I immediately in my brain told myself that was an error. Oh, that was an accident. She did not mean to do that. But if I have other ideas in my head about who Alicia is, if I've decided that Alicia doesn't like me, if I've decided that Alicia must think she's better than me, she could do the exact same thing. She could step on my foot and it means something totally different. Are y'all tracking what I'm saying? And so one of the things that I want you to do is to assess, have you added other feelings onto an incident to make it mean what it doesn't even mean? You got to really ask yourself, is what I am telling myself even true? I've already told you, feelings aren't facts. So where have you made it mean more than what it means? Where have you done that? And so again, this is the piece that we are trying to avoid. And it's a whole script. It's a whole scenario. Again, part of what happens with us is there is a backstory. There is always a backstory. I love telling folks that we have a movie that gets played on a regular basis, the movie of you. And in every movie, there is a plot. In every movie, there is a crisis. And so what is the crisis that you perceive in your life? What is the thing that must be conquered? For some of us, it's love. For some of us, it's money. For some of us, it's safety and security. You know, am I really loved? Do I really have support? Do I really? And so we have kind of an undertone of beliefs that literally have become a script that we subconsciously live out. And all it takes is for somebody to step on our foot, so to speak, metaphorically, before, again, the buttons are being pushed to either affirm or confirm what we've already told ourselves in our minds about how life works. So let me make it plain. If I believe that nobody, is really, if I'm a single person and I believe there really are no good men out there, and because that's a very common thing I hear all the time, or that I am in relationship, but I have an undercurrent belief that marriage doesn't really work. Remember what I told you, whatever you expect, whatever you believe is exactly what you get. What I am doing in life is I am taking my experiences, I am taking my incidents, and I am looking to say, yep, I told you so. I am looking to validate the story I got going on in my mind. So what is the story of you? What is the story of you? Is the story that you can never really get ahead? Is the story that you're never quite gonna make it, that you're not good enough? Is the story that you are always rejected and somehow, because you will make yourself rejected when you're not even rejected. And again, these feelings, these things that we are trying to avoid, most of the time, they're not even real. They are things that we have made up, and it's really based on fear. And I heard a wonderful definition of fear the other day. Fear is the imagination gone wild. That's what fear is. The imagination gone wild. The imagination operating in dysfunction, creating scenarios that don't even exist, making you think that it is real. And you are living it out as if it's real when it's all false. When it's all false. So again, this is your invitation today to actually feel not these fake feelings, the things that we make up, because I really want you to be able to kind of put a check on your feelings and to assess, is it even true? Have I told myself people don't like me and I've just made it true? Have I told myself that I'm not good enough? When you look at the track record of your life and everything you ever wanted to do, you actually did. Why are you telling yourself the lie that you're not good enough and then letting the feeling sit on you? Okay? And this is the thing too, and this is very interesting, because the thing that creates the feeling is not even so much the incident. But it is, like I said, all of the meaning, and sometimes it's false meaning, all of the things that we have attached to it. And that is the thing that we are actually trying to avoid. When my marriage was in complete breakdown, I wasn't so much afraid of my marriage being in breakdown, because that's what it was. What I was afraid of is what people would think of me because it was in breakdown. Are you hearing what I am saying? So the thing that we are often trying to avoid is not even the thing itself. What I was trying to avoid was people's judgment about my situation. I was trying to avoid what I thought people were going to think about me being in that kind of situation, because Melissa is a therapist. Melissa does marriage work. Melissa has all of these degrees. Melissa. Can you hear how self-focused that is? Can you hear how ego-focused that is? It wasn't even about the relationship. It was about what people were going to think about me. That was the thing that I was trying to avoid, because God forbid somebody think negatively about me. And I want to invite you to take the spiral stairs all the way down, because what does it mean that somebody doesn't think that you're all that? What have you told yourself that that means? And so for me, what that looked like, what that meant was, well, then that means I'm not credible. If she can be going through that in her relationship, I had told myself, I had made up a whole script about what people would be saying about me, about, I had really, in hindsight, I made marriage an idol. I really did. It wasn't even about him. It was more about what would I look like being divorced. That ain't about him. That's about me. I'm more concerned with what people are going to think about me and the judgments they're going to make about me, and whether or not they're going to take me seriously, and what's going to happen to my reputation, and what's going to happen to me. He was just somebody in the script, if I'm honest. And God had to really do some work on that. That if the relationship was going to work, and he had to do his own work too, but I had to work out my need to be liked and approved of by people. Because otherwise, the emotion of what if this doesn't work out? The emotion of what if people know that everything ain't the way it looks? The emotion of all of that was drowning me. So what I was trying to protect wasn't about him, the marriage. What I was trying to protect was the ego of me, the image of me. And I want to tell you, ladies, sometimes freedom, sometimes your breakthrough is letting it all fall apart. Because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if I hadn't let everything fall apart. If I hadn't disconnected that negative false thinking that somehow I was going to be unacceptable if I were divorced, if I didn't detach myself from that, because I had built a whole identity, built a whole identity around being a wife, built a whole identity around being a mother. So what does it mean if I am not those things anymore? That wasn't about him. That wasn't about our issues that needed to be worked on. That was about, what are you going to think about me? And I needed to be delivered from this whole notion of living for the thoughts and approval of other people. Because if you live for the thoughts of other people, if you live for the affirmation of other people, it will be the affirmation or lack of affirmation that brings you down. Okay? You got to be able to affirm within yourself who you really are. That is the way you do battle against the thoughts that come into your mind that make you feel things that aren't even real. That is the way you do battle. Remember, as I said, there is a part of you that has never been broken and never will be. That is the part of you that must be summoned, that you are in the space. And I want you to really dig and investigate. This is detox. I want you to dig and investigate what it is you're really trying to avoid. Are you really trying to avoid people looking at you and looking at your life? Are you really trying to avoid people's judgment of you? Are you really trying to avoid that you think you're going to lose something that possibly you don't even have? So how are you going to lose something you don't even have? But in your mind, you've told yourself you have that. Anything you have can't be taken. Do you all hear me? Anything you have can't be taken. Who gonna take it? You have it. So feel. You must feel. You must uncover. You must allow what the real thing that you are trying to avoid is. That's what you must do. So I want you to do yourself a favor. I want you to do yourself a favor today. I want you, rather than reaching, because it's very unconscious, rather than reaching for the thing that you have been reaching for, whenever a feeling of discomfort and dis-ease comes up. So whatever that is, can we be real? Whether that is the extra helping of food that you don't really need, whether it's, for me, chips and guacamole, whether it's an extra glass of wine or a glass of wine, period, because in your mind, you are just trying to not feel. I just don't want to feel. Whether it's Netflix, when you're supposed to be writing your book, but you sitting up watching episode after episode after episode of mindless television, and God is saying, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. And you are binging out because you don't want to feel. What is it that you are trying to avoid? The definition of suffering is to avoid reality as it is, to act like your reality is something other than what it is. That is the definition of suffering. So you, just by avoiding it, doesn't make it go away. Only thing it does is prolong it. And so are you prolonging what God is trying to pull you through? And I am a witness that when you prolong, it gets harder. It gets harder the longer it takes. There are some processes that God has been trying to take me through. And I can now, hindsight, say, God, I'll do that later. I see that, but I'm going to deal with that later. And God is like, no, you're going to develop that now. And I was, God, I'll deal with that later. And there comes a point, and many of you are at that point. Let me know if you're at that point. There comes a time where there is no more, I'll do that later. The time is now. You don't have later. This is your time to deal with what you have not wanted to deal with, to feel what you have not wanted to feel. And again, perhaps you have made up a whole story about what's going to happen when it ain't even true. It's not even true. So don't allow your feelings to turn you into a hostage in your life. Do not avoid. I want you to be the strong woman that you are, the woman, that part of you that's not in pieces, because you ain't all in pieces. You wouldn't be where you are in life if you were in total pieces. So that part of you that you've been using to help other people, this is your time to use that part of you to help yourself. You must help yourself in this season. You must be your own rescue in this season. It's up to you. And so rather than avoid, rather than go get on Netflix, rather than go shopping and swipe your card when you know you don't need to be swiping nothing. You don't need another pair of shoes. You don't need anything to make you feel better. You need to investigate. You need to go deeper. You need to go in and say, what is it? Here I am. The truth will make you free. When I did my work around this, like I said, the truth was hard to swallow, but I needed the truth because I didn't realize how much I had distorted marriage. I didn't realize how much I had distorted being a mother. I didn't realize how much I was leaning on my reputation for my self-worth, for my ability to work with you all. If I don't have this many clients, if I don't have that, I didn't realize how I had put myself in a danger zone. And God forbid that God would elevate me while I had all of that crazy thinking in my head. That would be a setup for my fall. That would be a setup for my demise. And so God is doing this for you. I know you think the feelings are going to break you. They are not going to break you. They are going to build you. So this is your opportunity to be built on solid rock, not on other people, not on people's opinions, not on your expertise, not on your career, but you are going to be built as a woman who is strong from the inside out. So let's do our work, ladies. That is your assignment for today. Are you hearing me? Let me know that you hear me. Let me know that you're ready. Let me know that we're not doing no more avoiding, that you're going through. Not going around. We're going through. All right? Let me know your feedback. Thank you guys so much. Tomorrow we will be here. Same time, same place. And I already told you Wednesday is going to be straight up fire because, again, some of the excess that we carry, let me just give you a preview. This excess is sometimes it's not about, oh, we lack discipline. You ain't lacking no discipline. You just afraid of your greatness. And so we just, begin to put ourselves in a kind of cocoon, and we put ourselves in this wrapping so that we can't be seen. But tomorrow is all about visibility. And if you were to feel good about yourself and the way you look, can you imagine the level of impact that you could have in the world if you weren't still talking about, I need to lose 10 more pounds? If you weren't talking about my hips and my this and my that, and I don't want to get on a stage and I don't want to speak because I don't look the way I want to look yet. That's a way to play small, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. So much love to you guys. Blessings to you. And like I said, let's do our work. Let's feel the feelings. Bye-bye.